it might be a measure of brighter things to come. And regardless of current European events, it will certainly be a relief to many working in the tourism and cultural sectors across France. The French Prime Minister, Jean Castex, announced today that the French vaccine pass will no longer be necessary in many venues across France from 14 March onward. It will also be a huge relief to tourists planning a visit to France in the coming months, particularly as European travel restrictions are being eased across the region throughout March. The pass has added an additional complexity to travel planning for many people over the past couple of months, particularly for those coming from outside the EU/EEA whose vaccination certificates have not had a QR code compatible with that of European countries. Prime Minister Castex, as reported by The Local, said after a fifth wave of COVID on an unprecedented scale, the health situation has been improving significantly for several weeks. In particular, the pressure on hospitals due to the epidemic has decreased significantly, allowing the lifting of emergency protocols and a gradual resumption of scheduled appointments and surgeries. Under these conditions, and while scientific models do not foresee any change in this favorable trajectory in the coming weeks, we can today announce new measures. From 14 March, masks will not be mandatory anywhere inside, except for hospitals, and other medical places, care homes and public dray. From this date onwards, the vaccine pass will also not be required in restaurants, bars, cafés, ski lifts, museums, cinemas and other cultural venues and theme parks, as is currently the case. At the moment, anyone who has had a booster can acquire a Pass Vaccinal. Anyone who has not had a booster must have one after 4 months to access most indoor venues. Anyone who has had a booster can enter France, providing they fulfill all other requirements and depending on the country they are traveling from, but anyone who has not had a booster must have one within 9 months to enter. For anyone who is fully vaccinated, pre-entry testing is no longer a requirement. Le Pass Vaccinal, despite being controversial, has led to the vast majority of the French over 12 population being at least partially vaccinated and many with boosters. Just over 54 million people have had at least one injection, which is about 80% of the population, and just over 53 million have had both shots, or one shot of a single-shot vaccination, which is approximately 78% of French residents.